Recent HBO documentary showed one side of the influencer business, but some experts argue that they got some stuff wrong.
Oh, interesting. Okay, John, joined by the CEO of a brand marketing company with more on the real world of online fame. Good morning.
Yeah, guys, the documentary is called Fake Famous, and it kind of gives you a look at the influencer world. We're joined this morning, though, by Eric Dahan. He's the CEO of a company called Open Influence. And correct me if I'm wrong about this, but essentially your company basically puts brands who want to advertise in contact with influencers who can then advertise their product. Is that a kind of, if not basic, accurate assessment of it?
Yep, that's accurate.
Okay, so you said the documentary, for those who haven't seen it, basically they take three people and their gist is, can we make them influencers and make them famous online? And in some cases they buy followers, they buy likes and stuff. But you were saying the documentary gets some stuff wrong. What do you think they got wrong in the documentary?
Yeah, I think the documentary really focuses on one small part of the market. And I think the documentary does get a lot right around some of the common pitfalls that brands face when working with influencers without the right understanding or the right tools. But keeping in mind, influencers aren't these, only the people that go photograph in front of that pink wall, the Paul Smith store in LA. You have creators that create sort of any type of content. You have from moms to mathematicians, physicists, beekeepers. So you have influencers are not just this one sort of vapid, vain type of personas. They're really influencers creating content in all different fields and all different areas of the landscape.
So what you see in the documentary with one of the people, where they did buy her a bunch of fake followers and fake engagement, and it started to work. She started to get products sent to her and stuff. So how do you verify that somebody's followers are in fact real?
Yeah, so the truth is, a lot of this is kind of like warfare, right? As soon as you find a good way of detecting fraud, the fraudsters kind of find another solution and a workaround. And so, back in 2018, 2019, this was a huge issue because the platforms themselves were not doing much around fraud. And you had a lot of companies come out that released tools. One of them was talked about in the show. But the issue with those tools is they don't have access to quite a lot of data to be able to really get in the nitty gritty. So it's directional at best. And the platforms since then have been taking a much bigger step, Facebook in particular, with going through and winnowing through fake followers, removing those fake accounts. They have all the data, they have the tools and the insights to do that. But then the next thing that's very important for companies like us to do is we really need to go and go beyond just fraud and look and say, are these influencers even just a good match? Are they authentic, which is really the key at the end of the day. Looking at how their audiences react based on the types of content they tell, doing real vetting and seeing, does this turn into real traffic to the company's site? Does this turn into real purchases? So it's really a combination of not just technology and tools, but also just know-how and investing the time and the work to do that diligence and do that check.
We're quickly running short on time here, but I want to ask you, what do you say to a young person or even parents of young person who say, I want to be an influencer. I don't need to go to college. Give me kind of what's the real world aspect of trying to do this as your job?
It's a lot of work. At the end of the day, you're essentially taking on the work that a studio would take on, where you're managing the production, you're the copywriter, you're doing the distribution. If you don't have a manager or an agent, you're trying to monetize it yourself. So it's really a lot of work. And I think in the movie, they kind of start to realize that, where they realize that the fake followers kind of hit a limit. They had to keep pouring more money in, and then they realized, wow, they're having to sink a ton of money into kind of creating this fake content and fake persona. I think what's key is you have to love what you talk about. You have to be passionate about it, and really authenticity is key, because you could fake it for a certain while, but that's not going to have longevity. And the brands are quickly going to realize that, and really. You saw influencers getting a lot of free stuff, but the bulk of the brands that are serious in this industry are paying influencers for those engagements, and they're doing their diligence checks. And so if you want any sort of longevity, as an influencer creator, you need to be authentic.
All right, Eric, appreciate the insight on that. The documentary is Fake Famous, and I appreciate you giving us another look at that issue. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.